To get meaningful work done and create a legacy in this world, you do not need a genius level IQ or some crazy talent. All you have to do is being able to concentrate deeply on a specific task for a few hours every day. In this book summary, we will explore the magic behind this distraction-free state called deep work and how to reach it. This is Detox Dan presenting the top 5 takeaways of Cal Newport's Deep Work. Takeaway number 1. Work out your brain. Cal defines deep work as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. Your potential for being capable of deep work and staying distraction-free works a lot like a muscle. A novice can do about 1 hour of deep work each day, while the true innovators of the world can reach up to 4 hours. To get there, you need to push your limits through deliberate practice. 4 hours might not sound like a massive number, but this book shows again and again how working focused beats working a lot. Carl Jung, as I will talk about in later takeaways, used to write on his ideas mostly before lunch, spending his afternoons simply walking in the forest and meditating. Still, he had time to revolutionize psychology. The following law of productivity explains this phenomenon. High quality work produced equals time spent times intensity of focus. Deliberate practice has 2 core components. 1. You have to focus intensely on the skill you want to improve, and 2. You have to have a feedback loop so you can improve and keep your attention intact. When doing so, your brain creates myelin around the relevant neurons, making them fire more efficiently and effortlessly. Therefore, seeing deliberate practice and deep concentration as a workout for your brain is actually not far from the truth. If you are in a state of distraction, however, this adaptation will not occur since your brain has not isolated which neurons that you are using for the specific task. Takeaway number 2. A commitment to depth. The commitment to depth doesn't just matter in terms of producing more value in the world. It also allows you to be more present with friends and family and make your overall life experience deeper. The deeper we go, the less anxious we feel. A wandering mind is an unhappy mind, and focus is the cure to mind wandering. The science writer Winfried Gallagher put this thesis to its test when diagnosed with a nasty kind of cancer. She said, "This disease wanted to monopolize my attention, but as much as possible, I would focus on my life instead." Her conclusion was that the quality of one's life is defined by what we choose to focus on and what we choose to ignore. This frees us from the issue of life circumstances. By improving and alter our attention, we can always make life better. She concluded, "Who you are, what you think, feel and do, what you love, is the sum of what you focus on." Takeaway number 3. Deep work is meaningful. There have since ancient times been a known correlation between meaning and depth. In this book we get to follow the blacksmith, Rick Furrer, while he's recreating a Viking sword. The initial piece of metal he breaks down and works on during a full day of hard but calculated blows to reach its desired shape. He explains the process like this: "To do it right, it is the most complicated thing I know how to make. And it's the challenge that drives me. I don't need a sword, but I have to make them." To seek purpose in a craft, there is a golden imbalance to aim for. The challenge should be easy to define, but hard to execute. Mali Shishkin-Mitila, pardon my pronunciation, explained, "The best moments usually occur when a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile." He defines this phenomenon as flow. Through empirical studies, they found that people are the most satisfied being immersed intensely in challenging tasks, even more so than being on vacation. Convinced, hopefully, that deep work is something desirable, let's hone in further on how to get there in today's distracting world. Takeaway number 4. Deep work scheduling. When Carl Jung needed deep work done, he decided to build a retreat at the northern banks of Zurich in a village called Bologna. In a 2-story building he called the Tower, he built an office with a key that only he had access to. There, he could lock himself in for long stretches of writing, being completely undisturbed until he chose to come out. When J.K. Rowling had trouble completing the final Harry Potter book, The Deathly Hallows, due to immense pressure and a house full of distractions, she escaped temporarily to a suite in a 5-star hotel. In the setting of this beautiful hotel with 0 distractions, her writing suddenly took off, and she ended up staying longer than expected, completing the whole book from there. Figuring out how to schedule these undistracted hours of deep work is crucial for a deep life. Here are 4 different philosophies that works in different life circumstances. The monastic philosophy. This is the completely off-the-grid strategy, removing emails, getting away to remote locations, and doing nothing but distracted-free work. The bimodal philosophy. This is an on-off strategy, where you spend most of your time with your normal day-to-day obligations, but set up life so that you can take temporary breaks of complete focus for weeks or months at a time. The rhythmic philosophy. This is perhaps the most realistic one for most people. It is about scheduling in smaller bouts of deep work every single day. This way, we create a rhythm for going deep, removing the need to invest extra energy to initiate the process. Good strategies to accomplish this is setting a fixed time every day for your deep work and marking every successful day with a red cross in your calendar. The journalist philosophy. This is for the extremely busy life. The idea is just to sprinkle in some deep work whenever spontaneous gaps occurs in the schedule. This approach is not recommended unless you are very used to deep work though, since it is too difficult to simply jump in and out of the flow state. Takeaway number 5. Rules for deep work. Quote, spend enough time in a state of frenetic shallowness and you permanently reduce your capacity to perform deep work. Unquote. In order to avoid drowning in shallow work, we will look at 3 ways to get back to deep work. Schedule breaks from focus. Most of us has got this the other way around. We live in a state of constant distraction, and we take small breaks from it to focus on the work that needs to be done. Cal suggests instead that focus needs to be the default state. Set fixed times where you are allowed to check the internet or your phone, and ignore it in the times between. Your brain will hate this at first, but with time you will build up resistance, much like explained in takeaway number 1. Embrace boredom. Ultimately, we need to become comfortable being bored to stand a chance in this distracted world. Just like athletes take recovery very seriously, we need to treat our brains the same way. Think of understimulation as recovery for the mind. Boredom is also the antidote to multitasking. Having a constantly divided brain is devastating for our working memory and the capacity to filter out irrelevancy. The next time you stand in line at the grocery store, view it as an opportunity to become resilient. Get back to rituals. Rituals are created to decrease the amount of willpower needed to reach a state of deep concentration. As discussed in the last takeaway, setting a specific time and location for your deep work helps a lot. Also, equally important is to have a shutdown ritual. This includes having a set time where you don't do anything work-related to ensure you recover properly. Quote, when you work, work hard. When you're done, be done. Unquote. To get unfinished work off your mind, write down an execution plan for the next day before shutting down. This removes your mind from the obligation to keep track of all your unfinished tasks. That was it for my top 5 takeaways of Cal Newport's deep work. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and I'll see you next time.